Bella returned to the country. I saw the news on her Facebook. She and Cole were classmates and spouses, so we actually had quite a few mutual friends. Shortly after she posted on Facebook, a bunch of people commented, wanting to welcome her back. Then, the next second, Cole's phone call came in. The first thing he said was, "Something's come up, don't wait for me for dinner." And then he hung up. My ear was still warm from the phone. I saw on the screen that Cole had liked Bella's Facebook post with a heart. I raised an eyebrow. Almost immediately, I knew what Cole meant by, "something's come up." He was probably rushing to see his first love. Did Cole forget that today was our wedding anniversary? I had specifically booked a place at a restaurant to celebrate with him. But as soon as Bella returned to the country, he abandoned me. After feeling frustrated for a while, I decided not to let the reservation go to waste. So, I pulled out a phone number from my contacts and made a call. "Hey, are you free? I'm inviting you to dinner. My family and Cole's have been friends for generations, and Cole and I practically grew up together." It wasn't until college that he confessed his feelings to me. After graduating from college and marrying Cole, life was better than I had imagined. Our relationship seemed to have not changed much. And in the 3 years since, Cole hadn't asked me to change anything. I was the same before and after our marriage. Cole, 4 years my senior, was mature, stable, and wise. He showed great tolerance towards me. Leaving love aside, he was a perfect partner. But now, this partner of mine was becoming imperfect. Cole left me on our 3rd wedding anniversary to meet his first love. I was frustrated, but I refused to become a resentful wife. So, I arranged to meet someone else. Oh, I forgot to mention, this person is Dylan. He's also returned to the country. Funny, these days it seems everyone has a returning first love. 20 minutes later, I saw Dylan at the restaurant. He seemed more refined and gentle than I remembered. "Chew," he called my name and sat down opposite me. We exchanged pleasantries for a while. Dylan asked why I was free to meet him today. Of course, I was too embarrassed to tell him that I had asked him out because Cole had stood me up. So I made up an excuse. "I thought of you since you've been back for a few days, and I promised to treat you to a meal." Dylan didn't expose my lie, just smiled gently. Dylan was actually Cole's college classmate. While Cole started his business and set up a company after graduation, Dylan stayed on to pursue his master's degree. I met Dylan during that time. Dylan also knew about my childhood sweetheart relationship with Cole. He didn't mention Cole, and we started talking about recent times. Just when the atmosphere was becoming harmonious, an out-of-place voice rang out, "Chew, what are you doing here?" The voice was familiar. I turned my head and immediately saw Bella. And there was Cole, wearing the shirt and tie I had prepared for him this morning. His face was dark and his eyes gloomy as he looked at me and Dylan. I was still a bit intimidated when Cole was angry. But I couldn't show weakness. So, I also looked back at him defiantly. "What are you looking at? Did you think you were the only one with a first love who's returned?" Our eyes conveyed silent messages to each other for several moments. Bella noticed and smiled as she explained, "I returned to the country today and arranged to meet some friends, Cole included." "Oh. I didn't know, wasn't interested, didn't care." I gestured towards Dylan, who was sitting across from me. "I also have a friend here." Dylan didn't know Bella, but he recognized Cole. So, he stood up and greeted Cole. "Cole, it's been a long time." Cole's response was indifferent. "Yes, it has been a while, about 6 years, right? Did you just return to the country too?" "Yes," Dylan replied with a light smile. Bella, noticing that all 3 of us knew each other, asked Cole if he wanted to join us. Although I wasn't looking at him, my ears were tuned to his movements. After a few seconds, I heard Cole coldly say, "No need." And then he walked away. Bella, seeing this, gave us an apologetic smile and then left as well. Our table quieted down again. The mood, already disrupted, was further soured by Cole's blatant disregard. It was impossible not to feel resentful. I cut my steak with irritation. Dylan glanced at me and asked, "Are you and Cole together?" I was surprised by Dylan's perceptiveness but was too annoyed at the moment. I bit into my steak and retorted, "Not for long." To be honest, I generally trusted Cole's character. I didn't believe he would cheat, but I wasn't sure if his old feelings for Bella would rekindle. Given the events of the evening, I felt the need to be cautious. So, I decided to take the initiative. I lost my appetite and excused myself from dinner with Dylan, who understood. When I got home, I found that Cole had arrived before me and was waiting in the living room. I glanced at the clock on the wall, curious about how long Cole had been back. Then Cole spoke. "Back already? Did you enjoy your meal?" I knew this was more than a simple greeting. Cole's tone had a strange calmness. "It was okay," I replied. Cole's gaze was dark. He stood up and approached me, picking up a strand of my hair and smelling it lightly. "Did Dylan bring you back?" I sensed that Cole was looking for a confrontation. I stepped to the right to increase the distance between us and defiantly replied, "You don't need to worry about it." I shot back at Cole. The next second, Cole froze, his emotions flickering in his eyes, eventually settling into a deep, dark intensity. "You're getting angry with me because of Dylan?" Was I really angry with him? I was just expressing my dissatisfaction. Misunderstanding my silence, Cole huffed in frustration. "Of course, your long-awaited first love is back in town. No wonder you're so distracted, Chew." "I didn't think you were like this." What did he mean by, like this? What had I done wrong? My emotions got the better of me, and I unleashed all my grievances, my voice breaking into a sob towards the end. "How could you? You were the one who went to dinner with your first love, forgetting our 3rd anniversary, and now you blame me?" I have a bit of a flaw. When arguing and feeling wronged, I tend to cry easily. Cole frowned. "Wait, you're saying today is our 3rd wedding anniversary? What else? You even forgot such an important day." I glared at Cole. Cole fell silent for a moment before responding, "I thought it was next Wednesday." There was a moment of stillness. "Is it?" I asked, doubting myself. Cole went into the bedroom and returned with our marriage certificate. "Maybe you should check again?" On closer inspection, I realized I was wrong. It was indeed next Wednesday. Suddenly, I felt like a fool. My tears dried up, and the atmosphere turned awkward. "Well, I was just testing you. Even if there's a week left, have you prepared my gift?" It was a casual question. If Cole hadn't prepared anything, I could use it as an excuse to run back to my room, heartbroken, and accuse him of not caring about me. To my surprise, Cole pulled out a box from his pocket. "I ordered this necklace for you from France. It just arrived today." He had actually prepared something? Cole, seeing through my act, raised an eyebrow in return. "What about my gift?" I lost it. After Cole's call earlier, I had impulsively thrown away the gift. I stammered, "Well, there's still time, His gaze was intense, fixed on me. Cole effortlessly swept me into his arms, spinning me around and cornering me against the sofa. "No preparation? So, not only did you forget our wedding anniversary, you also went to meet another man?" His presence was overpowering. "I bought new pajamas," I blurted out in a panic. Cole's eyebrows twitched slightly, a sign of his interest. Though the anniversary confusion was a misunderstanding, I still felt resentful early in the morning. I bit into my bread, glaring at the man opposite me. Cole was leisurely spreading honey on his toast, his movements slow and graceful, turning a simple action into something captivating. "Staring at me? Do you want some?" Cole's cool voice interrupted my thoughts. I snapped back to reality, meeting his meaningful gaze, shivered, and shook my head vigorously. "Finish up, I'll drive you to work," he said, biting into his toast. I nodded quietly. After marrying Cole, I didn't seek other employment and joined his company instead. Although we're married, no one at the office knows. Every morning, Cole drops me off about 200 meters from the office, and I walk the rest of the way. Over the years, no one has discovered our relationship. Today was no different. I walked from where I got off towards the office entrance. Suddenly, someone called out from behind, "Chew." I turned and was surprised to see Dylan. "What are you doing here?" I asked. "I'm here on a company assignment." "We're here to discuss a partnership," he replied. To my surprise, Dylan's company was looking to collaborate with Cole's. We chatted as we walked towards the elevator. "You work here too?" Dylan asked. I nodded. I hushed him before he could finish. I whispered, "No one at the company knows about my relationship with Cole." "Oh." Dylan understood and promised to keep it a secret. I smiled gratefully and began introducing him to Cole's company. Despite Cole's stern and aloof demeanor, he had a good handle on managing the company. The company's growth prospects and employee qualifications were impressive. Dylan listened with a smile as I talked. Then, another voice echoed from behind us, "General Manager." The employees waiting for the elevator with us greeted Cole as they saw him. Cole nodded in acknowledgement, his presence commanding and unapproachable. I too looked towards him. His gaze brushed over me briefly before settling on Dylan. "General Manager." Dylan addressed Cole with a different title. Cole nodded slightly. Behind him, his team and Dylan's shook hands and exchanged greetings. Someone pressed the button for the elevator reserved for Cole. "Please, this way," they gestured to Dylan's team and Cole's group. Dylan's team and Cole entered a separate elevator, but before entering, Dylan looked back at me. I waved at him, then immediately received a sharp glance from Cole. Cole and Dylan's meeting in the conference room lasted for about 2 hours. It seemed the collaboration was going well. For the duration of the partnership, a section of our office would be allocated to Dylan's team. This meant that for the next few months, we would be sharing our office space with them. This is to ensure better cooperation, so let's all be on our best behavior. The general manager has said there will be benefits for everyone involved, someone announced, and the office erupted in cheers. Soon, Cole's secretary brought Dylan and his team over. Our manager showed them to the designated area. "Feel free to sit anywhere, let me know if you need anything," the manager said. Dylan and his team thanked him, particularly Dylan, who was polite, handsome, and well-mannered. His presence instantly caught the attention of the female colleagues in the office, all eagerly hoping he would choose a seat near them. I was indifferent to where they sat, focused on the reports on my computer. Suddenly, a shadow loomed over me. "Chew." It was Dylan again, choosing a seat across from me. "Is this seat taken?" "No, it's not." "Then I'll sit here." I nodded in agreement, and Dylan smiled slightly. "I look forward to working with you during this partnership." I responded politely, though I was a bit apprehensive. After all, I was just an employee, hardly in a position to offer much guidance. Dylan was arranging his desk, occasionally making conversation with me. I was responding when I suddenly felt a chill down my spine. Glancing around, I caught a glimpse of the blinds in Cole's office moving slightly. Over the next few days, everyone in the office noticed how close Dylan and I seemed to be. People in the break room started asking if Dylan and I knew each other. I honestly told them that Dylan was my senior in college. He helped me move my luggage when I first started university. Indeed, we knew each other, and I had secretly written him a love letter once, but he went abroad before I could give it to him. Of course, I wouldn't tell anyone about the love letter to Dylan. Speaking of Cole, he seemed to have skipped lunch today. I stepped into the stairwell and called him. He answered quickly. "Cole, did you skip lunch?" There was no reply, but I heard a soft hum. Eventually, Cole took me to a restaurant about a kilometer away. As soon as we entered, we ran into Bella. It was Bella who called out to Cole first. "Chew, you're here too?" "Yes, we came for lunch," I replied, deliberately emphasizing we, and moving closer to Cole. He glanced at me, his expression softening slightly, though he said nothing. Bella smiled. "All right, I won't disturb you then." The waiter led us to a private room. I happily ordered several dishes, only to realize that Cole was watching me intently. "Why are you looking at me like that? You seem not to like Bella very much." I scoffed internally, putting on a brave front. "No, I don't." Cole chuckled lightly, ignoring my denial, and continued to probe. "Why don't you like Bella?" I glared at him, setting down my teacup. "Cole, don't pretend you don't know. Bella is your first love. You've liked her since high school and didn't date anyone because of her. But don't forget, you're my husband now. We're the legitimate couple here. If you dare do anything to betray me—" I raised my knife and fork menacingly, the cold light glinting off the blade as it passed over Cole's face. Then I coughed and put down the utensils. "Of course, I trust you're not that kind of person. But if you're still hung up on Bella, we might as well separate now. I can find someone else." "You wish," Cole scoffed. I glared at him. He swiped through his phone. "Last night at dinner, besides me and Bella, there was someone else. Here's the restaurant surveillance footage." He showed me the video. I saw Cole and Bella sitting opposite each other. After a while, another man arrived. Bella stood up, took his hand, and introduced him to Cole, who then shook hands with the man. Cole explained, "This is Bella's husband, also a former business partner of mine. Bella and her husband returned to the country and wanted to thank me for our past collaboration with a dinner. Cole and I made up. For our anniversary, he took me to my favorite Japanese restaurant." Seeing his effort, I decided not to argue with him for a few days. In a good mood, I hummed songs at work, surprising and intriguing my colleagues. Dylan, sitting across from me, looked up. "Chew, want to have lunch together?" Dylan's team had been with us for about a week now. After getting acquainted, we occasionally went out for lunch together. I glanced at Cole's office. He seemed busy, not having left his office all morning. Sure, I agreed to Dylan's lunch invitation. The restaurant he chose, though close to the office, was quite upscale. "Shouldn't we just grab something simple?" I asked. "When I'm treating you, why settle for simple?" he replied. I just nodded, not thinking much of it. While looking at the menu, I asked, "Can I order extra dishes?" "I want to bring some back for Cole." Dylan paused, then smiled. "Of course, you can." Feeling a bit better, I ordered some of Cole's favorite dishes and asked the waiter to pack them. After that, I relaxed and chatted with Dylan. "You and Cole seem really close," he noted. "Yeah, we're okay," I replied. Cole and I had known each other for over 20 years, and our relationship had always been like this. Dylan just smiled and didn't say more. After lunch, we headed back to the office. I was carrying the packed lunch for Cole, thinking of an excuse to give it to him. As soon as we exited the elevator, I ran into Cole. Dylan greeted him, and Cole responded with a grunt before heading to the break room. Perhaps feeling ignored, Dylan turned to me with a resigned look. "The general manager doesn't seem to like me much." "It's not that. He might just be in a bad mood today," I said, trying to explain for Cole. I patted Dylan's shoulder, telling him not to overthink, and then carried the packed food into the break room. Luckily, it was empty. I approached Cole. "General manager, haven't had lunch yet? I brought some for you." I lifted the lunchbox, smiling and looking for some praise from Cole. He glanced at it casually. "You went out with Dylan?" "Yeah." "Just the two of you?" "Yeah, is there a problem?" "No problem." I could almost hear the gritting of his teeth. I placed the lunchbox beside Cole. "Remember to eat." As I turned to leave, Cole suddenly grabbed my hand. "Why are you in such a hurry?" "Well, I don't want anyone to come in and see us." It was lunch break, but you never know when someone might come to the break room. Let go of my hand, someone might see us. As I tried to pry Cole's hand off, he unexpectedly kissed me on the lips. "Stay away from Dylan." "Why? You don't like Dylan?" "Why would I like him?" Cole's furrowed brow looked like it could trap a fly. That afternoon, we were setting up a shoot in the studio. Dylan and his team were discussing modifications nearby. As I carried a box of samples to be photographed, I didn't notice a misplaced stand and tripped over it, falling hard to the ground. "Ah!" I cried out, landing face down. My hands and knees were scraped, bleeding. "Chew! Be careful, you've damaged the samples." As if my injuries weren't worse. A crowd quickly gathered around me. Dylan stopped his conversation and rushed over to help me up. "It hurts, it hurts. Go slow. Can you stand? Take it easy." Dylan carefully helped me up, and everyone was suggesting a trip to the hospital. "I'll take you to the hospital. Everyone else, clean up here and get back to work," Dylan instructed. Once the area was cleared, everyone dispersed. Dylan asked if I could walk, and I nodded, enduring the pain. As he escorted me to the elevator, we ran into Cole, who was about to leave. He first glanced at Dylan, then his eyes fell on my injuries. "What happened?" "Just a little fall. It's nothing. I'll take you to the hospital," Cole offered, coming over to help. "No, let Dylan take me. You have a client meeting this afternoon, right? Don't trouble yourself." Cole's movement halted mid-action, his hand falling back to his side as he looked at me with a heavy, intense gaze. Not wasting any time, Dylan helped me into the elevator. At the hospital, he was busy registering and paying for my treatment, even fetching a wheelchair for me. All the hustle took about 2 hours. "Sorry for holding you up from work and making you miss your off time," I apologized. "No need for formalities between us." "I'll go get your medicine," Dylan said, leaving me alone in the hallway. I idly fiddled with my phone case, surrounded by the hustle and bustle of the hospital. Soon, I heard footsteps and assumed it was Dylan. That was quick, I thought. But no, it wasn't Dylan. It was Cole. Cole looked like he had rushed over, carrying the briskness of the outside world with him. "Cole?" I asked, surprised to see him. "How are you?" he asked, squatting in front of me. This was the first time I saw him so concerned. Did Cole really care about me this much? A strange, warm feeling swelled in my heart. "I'm fine, the doctor has already treated the wound." "Dylan went to get my medicine," I explained. Dylan returned, muttering care instructions for me. He stopped in his tracks when he saw Cole. "General Manager, you're here too?" Cole nodded, his gaze lingering on Dylan. Uncharacteristically, he wasn't too cold. "Thank you for today, you've been a great help." "It's nothing, we're old classmates after all," Dylan replied with a smile. Cole also smiled. "Yes, especially since Chu is my wife now. Thanking you is a must." Cole took the medicine from Dylan and suddenly lifted me in his arms, bypassing the wheelchair. I was about to say goodbye to Dylan, but Cole quickened his pace, so I just waved at him instead. A few days later, my knee started to scab and walking became easier. Before going to work, Cole placed a water bottle on my nightstand. "I've left the water here for you. I've arranged for someone to come and cook at noon. Call me if you need anything." "Okay," I responded. Cole came home late that night, and I was already asleep. He turned on the bedside lamp to apply medicine to my knee and hand. Half awake, I opened my eyes. "Cole. I think I love you even more now." I cupped his face, gave him a kiss, and fell back asleep. In the following days, Cole seemed exceptionally cheerful. When my injury healed, I returned to work, only to find that rumors about Dylan and me had spread due to my accident. During lunch break in the break room, a colleague eagerly engaged me in gossip. "I never imagined I'd be the center of office rumors." "No, you've got it wrong. Dylan and I are just friends, and besides, I'm married," I clarified. The colleague's expression turned from puzzled to shocked. "What? You're married?" Her voice was so loud that it drew the attention of everyone around. A new wave of gossip began to swell as people eagerly listened in. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Cole approaching. Yes, I'm married, and my husband is amazing. We have a great relationship and I love him a lot. I declared, hoping Cole would hear. The crowd around me started to cheer, and I quickly nudged Dylan, who was sitting opposite me. Catching sight of Cole and understanding my cue, Dylan quickly added, "Ah, right, Chu is married. I've known this for a while, and we really are just ordinary classmates and friends." Cole announced that 5% of the profits from this collaboration would be distributed as a bonus to our department. Before the end of the workday, our manager suggested a team dinner with Dylan's group. I was relieved that, even though Dylan and I were seated together, the jokes about us ceased after everyone learned I was married. The female colleagues shifted their enthusiasm back to Dylan, clamoring for his WeChat. Some were also curious about who I was married to. Just as everyone was getting lively, someone shouted, "General Manager." Cole had arrived. I turned to see him standing at the door. Our manager hurried over to him. "General Manager, we're having a team dinner here, would you like to join us?" "No, thank you. I have guests waiting," Cole declined. As everyone thought he was about to leave, Cole scanned the room before walking straight towards me. "It's cold tonight. I brought you a jacket. Wait for me after the dinner, I'll take you home." He handed me the coat draped over his arm, sending my heart racing. In that moment, I forgot all about keeping my relationship with Cole a secret in front of everyone. I nodded obediently and simply said, "Okay." Cole nodded and smiled at the stunned crowd. "Enjoy yourselves, tonight's bill is on me." Then, he turned and left. The room erupted into shocked exclamations. "Ah! Chu's husband is the boss. Wow, the boss's wife has been right beside us. The general manager is married." With that, my identity was completely revealed. Naturally, I was bombarded with questions from everyone about how Cole and I got together.